hour of it is going to be about that's her testimony. Dana had I have a large story. Have been with having her. She's very positive and uplifting to all of us, and she has a story that's also uplifting. Starts out kind of tragic, but it is as well, and certainly for us. So we are happy that she is here to talk to us tonight. This is Dana Briggs, and she came to us about 4 years ago.
No, I just got to pop my leg up.
Nobody's recording it.
Is Matt, do I just talk now? I mean, it's all ready? Okay. Well, hi, my sisters. I'm Dana.
There's Matt.
Okay. Not sure really where I look for me. After my accident, she lives in Virginia right now, and she was hoping this would be taped. So I think probably all of us say, you never know what a day's going to. And I know I used to do it, and you do it nonchalantly, I think. Well, I had a day like that 5 years ago. I was on my way home from work in my little Chevy Cavalier, and I got T-boned by a man that was going 100 miles an hour. Or anything about the accident, but I tell you, God had angels right there with me. I love that verse in the Bible that says his angels encamp round about us, and they were really there. Behind me, there were 2 paramedics that were off duty, but they came up to help me. And I had even a fractured neck. And when we were in nursing school, we were taught that if you had that, you either died or you were down. Well, thank God I didn't have, and I wanted to pass around a picture of my car. And then on the back, there's a couple more little pictures. And if anybody doesn't believe in God and they see that car in me, they really got a problem. So, I had multiple traumas from my brain, my head, to my foot. And for probably about 7 weeks later, God bless them, they kept me in a coma. And it was mainly to help my brain not enlarge any more than it was, or swell more inside, and to help start the healing with all the fractures. The head of the surgical trauma department was on call that night in the emergency room, so I was really, really, really blessed. Of course, it was on my left side, my dominant side. They thought I was probably going to lose my leg, but I didn't, and I'm very grateful. And you know, God answered a prayer of mine, and I prayed it when I was 18. When I first started in nursing school, and I first learned what a colostomy was, I remember praying, please, dear God, I hope I never have to have one. And they were shocked. I had a big abdominal wound like this, and they were shocked that my intestines weren't damaged, but they weren't that. And the orthopedic doctor looked like a bunch of cornflakes. He'd never seen anything like it, but he was a Christian also, and he prayed before he did every surgery. I got a whole bunch of titanium there, but like I said before, I can walk, and I'm so grateful. 24 surgical procedures, and I need one more. I need a new left hip for that right now. And I had 40 pints of blood. Bless anybody that gives blood. And then I did lose my spleen and my left kidney time. But I had 2 glorious times in my, well, I guess dreams, when I was in that coma for 6 weeks. They were very deep. And the first thought was, why am I being carried? It's like the joy was so overwhelming. You can't describe it. Like that verse, in his presence is fullness of joy. And you know, anybody that knows the Lord that dies, I mean, it happens immediately. They have that awesome joy. And you know, we of course grieve and grieve and grieve for them, but don't grieve for them if they know the Lord. Um, I was being, then the first dream I was being carried to my neighbor's house. And when I got in there, I knew them very well, but when I got in there, and I thought, these people really need to know the Lord. Well, after I'd been home a couple weeks, he called and had my mama come over and pray with him, make sure that he was a Christian. So that was good. And my second glorious detailed dream, I was being carried down a dark hall. Back was an open door with the most glorious light. And then you can't explain it all. And immediately I thought, why am I being carried? And my next thought was, wow, this joy. Carried, I made it almost to the open door, but I didn't make it through. I believe that was the 10th day after my accident. Son were there for the whole day, and I just kind of was bleeding out. And you know, it was a Saturday, and you know, you call on Saturdays, it's like, oh, I got to finish my golf game. I got to do this. I got to do that. So I got lots of blood that day, and during the evening, and did the surgery. He said my kidney was like some jelly, that it was really destroyed. So, oh, and okay. I was in the critical care ICU for 1 month, and they said they'd never seen a patient as bad as I was. Then I spent the next month in the step-down ICU. I had that tracheostomy, and you know, I'd taken care of him before as a nurse, suction people. Yeah. So I had lots of mucus, and every single time I had to be suctioned, it was so scary. And one night, you know, nurses were allowed to do that, the respiratory therapists, the physicians, although they never do it. I just was gagging and choking, and the nurse's desk was right out there. And a nurse answered my bell. She said, oh, I'll call the respiratory therapist, which she should have just done it then. But I could see her and hear her out there talking. Well, it seemed like 45 minutes before he got in there, and I would just couldn't breathe. And he stops there and he says, well, what do you need? And it's like, I wish I could have talked then, because I would have wanted to talk to his supervisor, but scary. And then, accident, my daughter-in-law told me that she came to me and said, Dana, if you'll get better, I'll give you a grandchild. They had been together about 12 years, and I just really thought she couldn't have a child. No, I heard clearly in my, she will conceive in November. And this was probably November that she told me the story. Well, you get one guess. Conceived. Tell anybody until she told me she was pregnant. And I thought, why did you do this, Lord? Why did you tell me this now? But she was just starting to grow in her faith. And she didn't know that the Lord could speak to you. And so that really, really helped her faith. So I was in rehab for 1 month to have a little bit of therapy with my brain injury. And then I'd go in the morning for my upper body and in the afternoon for my lower body. And in the beginning, I could move my fingers about that much, which is really nothing. But I went to try to pick up a piece of paper on the table, and I couldn't hold it at all. And a little time after that, I went for some water, and of course, I couldn't hold it at all, so that went all over. That was in the beginning. It was all numb, of course, on my left side, but it's all better now except for my ankle. Still have numbness there. Um, I told you I had the big, I had been taken to x-ray and they needed to go do something else. So I'm sitting there and my binder opened up. I had been a nurse for 34 years, but I never saw anything that looked like my belly. And I just started sobbing and sobbing and sobbing. I can't look at this. I'm a nurse, but I can't look at this. So my sweet mama had come up from the south to take care of me and day for me, so I didn't have to see it again. Thankful. Um, when, like I told you, my wound was like this, and my muscles were spread apart. So the only thing, when they sent me home, the only thing covering my intestines was a skin graft, the big one that they took from my right upper leg. So that was very strange. It's like, how do I move? What do I do that I don't damage anything here? Well, the next April, got a surgeon to do this repair, which he didn't care about it. You could tell before surgery. He hardly. My surgeon that said she'd make my belly flat was on bereavement leave. I got a surgery and was walking by that evening, but he didn't do hardly anything. But a year ago, I was sent to an awesome abdominal surgeon in Kansas City. If you know of anybody that ever needs one, I got his name. He did an 8-hour surgery on me, and look, probably all remember, I looked like I was 9 months pregnant before that surgery. So muscles, you never think too much about your abdominal muscles, but they do a lot for us. And, a lot of people ask, why did this happen to you, Dana? Why do you think this happened to you? And from the very beginning, it's like, why not me? I deserve to go to hell. And I know him, and I'm not going to hell. So, such a blessing about that. And good pain tolerance. In fact, in rehab, I got a big old lecture. It's like, Dana, you take your pain pills before you go to therapy. They said, you're not going to get addicted to these pills that we're giving you. Just take them and have your therapy. I had a few times of extreme, extreme pain when I got home. And I was able to forgive these guys from the very beginning when I woke up. But I tell you what, these 2 awful, awful times at home, I wished I was suffering, not me. So one time I cried for like an hour and a half, and because it hurt so bad, and 2 pain pills didn't do a thing. But and then on my worst day, what am I gonna do? I'm divorced, and I have to take care of myself. Never be able to work again. Just was in such agony in my brain, and I heard the voice. Do you trust me, Dana? And I've never heard him, use my voice when he talked to me. And when he said the word Dana, it was more pronounced, and that really helped me out. And my finances got down to this much. Remember that. And it takes like 5 months from the day of your accident that they put you on disability. So it did take 5 months. And like I said, I was down to next to nothing by then. And I still have times of sorrow or self-pity. I don't let brain more than 5 minutes if I let it last that long, because so much for me, so I just flipped my mind and all that and and then my grandchildren, be able to play with them on the floor and doing all kinds. So those are my two main sorrows. I really do thank God that I never was in a rage about these men that caused the accident. Of course, and they weren't hurting anyway, which usually happens with these accidents. And I did forgive them from the beginning, salvation for them and their families. Um, like I said, during my real times of pain and misery, I sure wished it would have been them, not me. And my brain injury, it affected me in a lot of ways. This sounds strange, but I couldn't taste or smell. Oh, my life's so boring right now anyways. I mean, you get enjoyment out of smelling and tasting things. But it was from a cervical nerve was damaged that included that. And then it was my short-term memory. I couldn't remember words to things, brain, but I couldn't come up with the word. And then I described something and what's the word and but I'm not sure their name and short-term memory. But I tell you what, except for my friends that I spend a lot of time with, most people can't tell that I still have a short-term memory loss. Oh, no, I have 2 titanium screws in my left elbow, which hurt really. But I wish you could see the x-ray from my hip to my foot. I have so much titanium in there. It's amazing. Just thank God that they put me back together. In my left hip, that's what hurts the most. And occasionally now. And then my left ankle hurts once in a while. But I don't have anymore, and I'm so grateful. Um, I'm very thankful for all my caretakers, for the Lord with his healing, and everyone who prayed for me. People prayed for me all over the United States, and one in Romania. My mama had gone on a mission trip to Romania and kept in touch with one of the ladies, so they were praying for me. So my sweet mama would take the bus. We were only 10 miles from the hospital where we lived, but on the bus to get to the hospital, and she did that every morning and every night for 3 months. So, him be the glory. Amen and amen. Oh, I have one more picture. This older couple from church came and prayed for me. Um, they came and prayed for me one night, and they brought me this picture, and it is a strong, powerful picture of the Lord, our shepherd. Bye, Mama.